Welcome to the world of epic storytelling. Did you know that 70% of readers say they remember stories more vividly if the setting is unique and immersive? That's a staggering statistic showing just how important your world can be. Imagine being so engrossed in a setting that it feels like another character in your story. That's the power of a well-crafted world. In this video, we're diving deep into the art of creating unforgettable fantasy and sci-fi settings. We'll explore how to turn everyday places into magical realms, make your worlds feel alive with dynamic landscapes, and craft hidden lore that adds depth and mystery. Plus, we'll tackle how to design parallel realms that expand your story's boundaries and use ruins and relics to bring a sense of history and intrigue. So, if you're ready to transform your storytelling and captivate your readers with epic settings, stay tuned. We're about to unlock secrets that will elevate your world-building skills to a whole new level. Let's get started! Chapter 1. From Mundane to Mythic. Transforming ordinary spaces into extraordinary worlds. Turning an ordinary setting into something magical doesn't require a complete overhaul. Sometimes it's the small details that make the biggest impact. Think about Tolkien's Shire in The Lord of the Rings. It's a simple rural setting, but it feels rich with history and tradition. How did Tolkien do that? By adding layers of culture, history, and a dash of the fantastical. Start with what you know. A simple village, a forest, or a bustling city can become extraordinary with the right touch. Imagine a regular forest, but every tree has a story carved into it, passed down from generation to generation. Now that's a setting with depth. Another example is the way George R.R. Martin turned the wall in Game of Thrones into more than just a barrier. It became a symbol, a dividing line between the known and the unknown. If you're working with a city, try infusing it with strange rituals or hidden corners where magic lingers. For instance, think of a marketplace where instead of food, people barter with memories or emotions. It's a simple twist, but it changes everything. When you alter the mundane, you not only surprise your readers, but also invite them to see the world through a different lens. Another great tip is to draw inspiration from real-world places. Did you know the floating markets in Bangkok inspired the water cities in fantasy novels? Real places often have an element of the fantastical that you can amplify in your setting. Consider adding unique smells, sounds, or sights to make the ordinary feel new and fresh. The key is in the details. A cobblestone street becomes much more intriguing if the stones glow faintly at night, guiding travelers on their way. Lastly, don't forget the impact of a setting on the characters. A stormy mountain isn't just a backdrop, it's a challenge your characters must face, both physically and mentally. The environment can shape your characters just as much as their experiences do. So, when crafting your setting, always think about how it can push your story forward. Chapter 2. Breathing life into landscapes. How to make your worlds feel alive. A great setting isn't static, it's as alive as your characters. To make your world feel like it's pulsing with life, focus on how the environment interacts with the characters and plot. Take Frank Herbert's Dune as an example. The desert isn't just a backdrop, it's a living, breathing entity that influences everything from the politics to the survival of the characters. Think about how the weather can affect your story. A sudden snowstorm can trap characters together, forcing interactions and decisions they wouldn't have made otherwise. Or maybe a heat wave causes tensions to rise, making everyone just a bit more irritable. Weather isn't just about setting the scene, it's about creating opportunities for conflict and growth. Another way to bring your world to life is through the passage of time. Seasons changing, day turning into night. These natural cycles can add a layer of realism to your world. But don't stop there. Consider how your world might react to these changes. Maybe certain creatures only come out during a full moon, or perhaps the tide reveals hidden ruins every 100 years. Don't forget to add small, unexpected details that make the world feel inhabited. Maybe there's a street vendor who always sells wilted flowers, or a stray cat that appears in every tavern. These little quirks make the world feel lived in, as if life continues even when the story isn't being told. Remember that everything in your world is connected. The flora and fauna should make sense in their environment. For instance, if your world has a toxic atmosphere, the plants might have evolved to filter the air, or the animals might have developed tough skins. Think about how everything fits together in a logical yet imaginative way. Lastly, consider how technology or magic interacts with the environment. In Avatar, the Na'vi's connection to their planet Pandora is a great example of how a setting can be intertwined with the people who inhabit it. It's not just about the cool visual effects, it's about creating a sense of unity between the characters and their surroundings. Your world should feel like a character in its own right, influencing the story just as much as the protagonists do. Chapter 3, The Power of Hidden Lore, weaving legends and history into your setting. Hidden lore is the secret sauce that gives your world depth. It's the backstory that the reader doesn't see but feels. Take the Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien. While most readers may never dive into its depth, the history and myths contained within it make Middle-earth feel ancient and real. Start by creating a history for your world, even if you don't plan to share all of it. What events shaped the current state of your world? Were there wars, plagues, or great discoveries? These elements add layers to your setting, making it feel like it has existed long before your character's journey began. Another strategy is to incorporate myths and legends. These can be stories that your characters grew up hearing, shaping their beliefs and actions. Maybe there's a legend of a cursed forest that no one dares enter. Even if the characters never visit the forest, the fear of it influences their decisions. Myths can also serve as metaphors for the themes of your story, adding a deeper meaning to the narrative. Don't forget about artifacts and relics. A simple object can have a rich history. Think about the One Ring in The Lord of the Rings. It's not just a piece of jewelry, it's a symbol of power, corruption, and the past. An ancient sword, a crumbling statue, or a forgotten book can all be used to hint at a larger history. Another tip is to use ruins and remnants of the past to tell stories. The remains of an old castle, a collapsed bridge, or an abandoned city can give clues about what happened before. These remnants add a sense of mystery and invite the reader to piece together the past. Finally, consider how the hidden lore influences the present. History has a way of repeating itself, and old grudges, alliances, and mistakes can resurface. This adds a layer of complexity to your story, making the world feel interconnected and dynamic. By weaving hidden lore into your setting, you create a world that feels deep, mysterious, and full of possibilities. Chapter 4, Alien Atmospheres, crafting unseen worlds beyond our imagination. Creating an alien atmosphere isn't just about making things look different, it's about making them feel different too. Take Ridley Scott's Alien. The atmosphere of the spaceship Nostromo isn't just eerie because it's dark. It's the constant hum, the claustrophobic spaces, and the unknown lurking in every shadow that make it truly alien. To create an alien atmosphere, start by thinking about the environment's physical properties. Maybe the sky isn't blue but a deep, unsettling green. Or perhaps the air is so thick that it feels like you're moving through water. By changing the basics, you immediately set the tone for something otherworldly. Next, consider the laws of nature in your world. Gravity might be lighter or heavier, which affects how your characters move. The day might last for 48 hours instead of 24, altering the rhythm of life. Even small changes like how water behaves or how sound travels can make a world feel distinctly alien. Think about the sensory experiences of your characters. What do they smell, hear, and feel? Maybe the air has a metallic taste or the ground pulses underfoot like a heartbeat. These details immerse the reader in the alien atmosphere, making it more than just a visual experience. Don't forget about the creatures that inhabit this world. They should be adapted to their environment in ways that might seem strange to us. For example, in Avatar, the animals have bioluminescent qualities that make sense in their glowing neon world. Your creatures should fit seamlessly into the world you've created, enhancing the alien feel. Finally, consider how the alien atmosphere affects your characters psychologically. A world that's completely foreign can induce fear, awe, or even madness. How do they cope with the unfamiliar? This not only deepens your setting, but also adds layers to your character's development. If you're enjoying these tips on creating epic settings, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter where we explore the rich societies and tensions that can drive your story forward. Chapter 5, Cultural Collisions, creating rich societies and tensions in your world. Building a world with rich, diverse cultures isn't just about adding flavor, it's about creating the fabric of your story. Think of Dune by Frank Herbert. The cultures of the Freemen, Atreides, and Harkonnen are so distinct, and their clashes drive the plot forward. Start by defining the core values of each society. What do they believe in? What do they fear? These values influence everything from their laws to their daily routines. Consider how geography shapes culture. A society living in a desert will have different customs than one in a lush forest. For example, water rituals might be sacred in a desert society, while a forest-dwelling culture might have deep ties to trees and nature. Geography isn't just a backdrop, it's a key player in shaping who these people are. Language is another powerful tool. Even small differences in dialect can indicate cultural divides. J.R.R. Tolkien was a master at this. The different languages in The Lord of the Rings didn't just add realism, they created a sense of depth and history. Think about how language can reveal social status, profession, or even hidden alliances. Don't shy away from conflicts between cultures. Tensions can arise from misunderstandings, differing values, or competition for resources. These conflicts are not only realistic, but also add tension and drama to your story. Remember, the more your characters care about their culture, the more they'll fight to protect it. Religion often plays a big role in shaping cultures. Whether it's a pantheon of gods or a single deity, beliefs can influence everything from politics to daily rituals. In A Song of Ice and Fire, the faith of the Seven and the old gods create deep divisions that affect alliances and wars. Religion can unite people or tear them apart, adding complexity to your world. Also, think about how different cultures perceive each other. Are there stereotypes or prejudices? In Avatar, the humans see the Na'vi as primitive, while the Na'vi view the humans as invaders. These perceptions add layers to character interactions and can lead to misunderstandings, alliances, or betrayals. Finally, remember that cultures are not static. They evolve over time, influenced by war, trade, or the arrival of new technologies. A once powerful empire might be in decline, or a small tribe could be rising in influence. This dynamism makes your world feel alive and keeps the reader engaged, wondering what will happen next. Chapter 6. Mysteries in the Mist. Using ambiguity to enhance your world's mystique. Ambiguity is a powerful tool in storytelling. It invites readers to use their imagination and fills your world with a sense of mystery. H.P. Lovecraft was a master of this. In The Call of Cthulhu, much of the horror comes from what is never fully explained. The unknown can be far more terrifying and intriguing than what is laid bare. One strategy is to leave certain elements of your world unexplained. Maybe there's a mountain range no one has ever crossed, or a city that appears on no map. These unknowns create curiosity and keep the reader thinking long after they've finished the book. It's about planting seeds of mystery that may or may not be resolved. Another way to use ambiguity is through myths and legends. These stories can be passed down through generations, becoming distorted over time. Think about the legend of the Kraken in Norse mythology. Its very existence was ambiguous, but that uncertainty only added to the fear and fascination surrounding it. In your world, myths could serve as warnings, prophecies, or tales of forgotten heroes. You can also use unreliable narrators or conflicting accounts to keep the reader guessing. If different characters believe different things about a place or event, it adds a layer of complexity. Which version is true? Maybe none of them. This technique keeps the reader engaged, always questioning what they know. Another tip is to create places or objects with unclear purposes. Perhaps there's an ancient temple with no known entrance or a relic that no one can decipher. These mysteries don't need to be solved immediately or ever. Their mere existence can add depth and mystique to your world. Remember that not everything needs to be explained to the reader. Sometimes less is more. In Blade Runner, the question of whether Deckard is a replicant or not is left unanswered. This ambiguity keeps the story alive in the minds of viewers, inviting endless debate and interpretation. Consider how characters in your world respond to these mysteries. Are there those who seek to uncover the truth, or others who prefer to keep things hidden? Their actions can drive the plot and add tension to the story. The unknown can be a powerful motivator, pushing characters to explore, fear, or protect the mysteries of their world. Lastly, use ambiguity to enhance the themes of your story. If your story is about the limits of knowledge, the mysteries in your world can reflect that theme. Ambiguity, when used effectively, doesn't frustrate the reader. It captivates them, drawing them deeper into your world.